Hello there, fans and frenemies, Nate Drakenator here, and as you all know, I am perpetually in robot hell, and I will drag you all down with me. Today, I am going to be ranking every Transformers thing ever. There are 10 million iterations of the Transformers franchise. I'm sure I've missed a couple, but I've got as many listed as I humanly could remember. So I think I did a pretty good job. I've got most of them here. So I'm going to knock out first the ones I haven't seen and have no opinion on, and then I'm going to go from the bottom to the top, and I'm going to rank them. I'm going to tell you what's good and what's not good. Here we go. And if you don't know anything about Transformers, but you want to pretend you want to know things about Transformers, make sure you just tell everyone everything I've said because I'm right. Thank you. Alright, so haven't watched these. Robot Masters, Devastation, Zone, which is just an OVA, I think. The Wings Universe comics, Unite Warriors, but that's illustrated by Hayato Sakamoto, so I assume it's absolute garbage. Transtech, the Marvel comics, G.I. Joe Transformers comics, the Dreamwave comics, IDW reboot, Q Transformers, or any of the Funrise comics. Alright, so we're gonna start here at the bottom in what I have dubbed the Burn in Hell tier. We're gonna start with Kiss Players. It's the worst thing ever made by anyone in history. Kiss Players is bad. Don't look it up. There's no redeeming quality. Actually, I don't know anything about Season 2, but I have heard that there's something kind of ironic that Season 2, like Season 1 of Kiss Players is like disgusting Lolita fetish stuff, but then like Season 2 they were like, oh no, that's gross. Actually, we want to appeal to girls with this, and they tried to but it didn't work, and it was dumb. But I don't know anything about it. All I know is that the character design for Rosanna and Glit are really cute, and I like those toys, but I'm gonna throw out all the creepy anime girl figures and all the garbage. Anyway, next up is Hayato Sakamoto's Transformers Legends, which is massively transphobic. It's like a series of Furcoma comics that he did, and they make a lot of disgusting sexual jokes about pretty much every female character, and a lot of really nasty jokes about, like, Air Razor is a boy in the Japanese Beast Wars cartoon and is gay, and in the American cartoon, Air Razor is originally a girl, and there's a lot of disgusting, like, at one point, Rat Trap, like, goes and, like, follows Air Razor to, like, a bathroom to see which one they'll go into, and, like, they go into, like, they see the girl room and then the boy room, and then they go into a room that's literally got, like, the slur, like, the T slur on it, or like a Japanese slur for trans people on the door, and it's like horrific. And there's a bunch of like really nasty transphobic stuff in there, a bunch of misogynistic stuff. It's awful. Hayato Sakamoto is notorious for drawing like Lolita and Shota stuff and like really, really, really gross art. I would really love it if Hasbro would stop hiring Hayato Sakamoto. It would be really great if this kid's franchise would not have him drawing stuff in it ever again. Thank you. Next up, Exodus. Alex Irvine did a really bad job. The book is both bad and then also boring. From a story perspective, it is incredibly offensive. There's this weird thing going on where it's a bunch of robots talking about other robots, and they're in a space war and not on Earth at all. And somehow, even though this is a completely unique space alien scenario, every word makes me feel genuinely like the author himself, if he met me, he would probably call me a slur. I get a really bad vibe from it. There's so many, like, the narrative, like, has that thing where it'll say, like, the heroic leader of the Autobots kind of stuff, where it makes it very clear this is a good person, and this is a good action, and then it'll say that about, like, really horrific things, like, it'll frame how amazing and cool Optimus is for committing a war crime, and it's like, I don't like this! I hate this so much! Anyway, Exodus makes me furious, and basically all you have to do is say the word Exodus and in my presence, and I lose my absolute mind. Alex Irvine did a bad job. Oh, and then also just like on an entertainment level, it's really boring. It essentially, like, imagine if you took the like character bio on the back of a toy box and then you stretched it out to 300 pages. That's basically what Alex Irvine did. So maybe never hire him to do anything again. Here's another thing Alex Irvine wrote a few things for, and it's Rib 15, which is a terrible show. Like, one, I don't understand why it's a sequel to Prime, because it's not a sequel to Prime. It has nothing to do with Prime, other than sort of a general world building, and even then it doesn't fit in or make a lot of sense. it's also, like, it's one, really just not very well written, not very well animated. There's, like, a scene in the first episode where there's, like, a 2D animated bird interacting with a 3D. It looks really bad. And then there's, like, as the series like, there's this bizarre thing going on with all of the Decepticons that, like, they're all based on animals, which conceptually is cool. Like, if you're going to introduce a bunch of new characters, I love animal formers. However, they're all Decepticons and they're all criminals. And when you combine that with the fact that most of them aren't actually Decepticons, even though they have a Decepticon brand on their shoulder, they aren't. Like, most of them they establish are from pre-war. Like, they were on Cybertron and arrested before the war ever started. And the factions, especially because this is technically in Prime, and even in, like, Rid, they make it very clear that the factions evolved as for the war. They aren't like a race. Like, it was when Cybertron erupted in war, two sides formed, the Autobots and the Decepticons. And before the war, those didn't exist. So for a person to be in prison and have a Decepticon brand on, but not know what a Decepticon is really, really questionable. And then also being animals in cages, like, the whole thing feels very uncomfortable. And then, like, you follow that up with the Minibot subplot stuff. Like, they treat Minibots and Minicons in the series like they're children or pets, even though, like, in the narrative we established, they're just, like, people. They're just, like, normal people. They just happen to be much shorter. But, like, at some times they treat them like they're a minority, and then they also definitely treat them like animals, pets, and or slaves at times. It's pretty horrific, and it's always, like, comical, and I really hate it. Everything about Prime is so... Oh my god, and then also, like, a lot of the Decepticons are clearly, like, not criminals. They're just, like, mentally ill people. Like, Filch only had, like, 3 lines in her entire episode. She was clearly, like, unable to stop herself from stealing things and didn't really seem to be aware of what she was doing. Like, she clearly needed to be in, like, some kind of mental health care facility. She needed help, not to be in prison, and I think that's a really bad moral lesson to be imparting to children, that just, like, these are all crimes that deserve to be. And they were, like, in the series, they're in prison forever. They've been in prison for millions of years, and not just in prison, but in stasis. Like, they've literally been in a pod, frozen and removed from the world, floating off in space for, like, millions of years. Like, they didn't kill them, but they basically killed them by just, like, turning them into cryogenic frozen people for millions of years. And that's what you get for, like, some of these crimes are just, like, they just, like, stole stuff. Like, that's what Filch did. She didn't kill anybody. She just was a kleptomaniac and she stole things. So she goes to prison forever. And I really hate this show. I really hate it. I really hate it. Okay, now we're out of the Burn in Hell tier and we're just into the regular bad tier. Machinima's Prime Wars, it sucks. It doesn't commit any horrific, heinous crimes like, cop propaganda or, like, gross Shota stuff. It's just bad. Like, the only thing wrong with Machinima's Prime Wars is that it's bad. It's just really bad. Bayverse. All of the Michael Bay Transformers movies are bad. Just skip them and go watch Bumblebee. The 86 movie, but the pre-Blu-ray remaster. Hang on, because we're gonna come back to this. But the original cut of the 86 movie, I think, is really bad, because I literally cannot tell what the characters are saying because the music is so loud. And, like, it's a very pretty movie, but it's just a really bad sound cut. It's really bad. I don't understand the plot. Rid 2001, it's boring and it's lame. It's lame and it looks weird. Beast Machines. Oh god, who let any of this happen? It looks so bad. Beast Wars Neo. I actually like it more than I like, Beast Machines. Still bad. Beast Wars 2. Still like it more than Beast Machines and Beast Wars Neo. Still bad. Super God Master Force. Not good. Unicron Trilogy. Really bad. American Headmasters. Oh god, the way they treat RC. It's all really bad. Japanese Headmasters. Slightly better than the American one. Still pretty bad. G1. I don't like G1. All of IDW, except for the parts that I'll be mentioning later. I just don't really enjoy any of IDW comics. I think it's too... I don't care. I don't care. And it's basically just MTMT and then, like, one other run that I like. Good tier. We're gonna start with Fall of Cybertron, solid game, and Warfare Cybertron. Both, they're good. They're good. They look nice. They did a good job. Transformers Go. It's a Japanese series. It's like one of those sort of classic shonen history ones. Characters go back in time. They meet a Japanese hero from, like, legend and the past. There's some sword stuff, and then they have the same cut of the same, like, shonen fight, and it's really cool, and then they go back. And if you like that sort of thing, you'll really enjoy it. I think it really crushes that specific genre. It's nothing transformative or particularly interesting. It's just like, if you enjoy that genre, you'll probably have a good time. And I like the I like the combination thing where they have like a combiner system where all three of the robots cause there's two different sides. There's like a beast side and then another side, and then, the three robots in each team will combine together and they'll make different looking robots. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then we get into the great tier. We're going to start with the Blu-ray remaster of the 1986 movie. And I really do enjoy watching the 86 movie when it's the Blu-ray remaster, because it has been, like, completely overhauled. They redid all the sound mixing. They reshot a lot of the frames, like, from the original cells. They did a lot of color correction and fixing, like, some errors, animation errors. They left in some of the really iconic ones, like rewind and eject switching colors mid-thing, which is important, I think, because that's just a part of watching the movie. That's the experience at that point. But they did fix a lot, and it's just a generally, like, that's the way to watch it. That is the way to watch it. The Transformers RID 15 IDW comic. It was really good. I think that the RID, the Robots in Disguise 2013, or 15... IDW comic was very, very good, and it gave me everything that I wanted from that series that the series itself completely failed to deliver on. The IDW Windblade mini. Margaret Scott just sucks. She just sucks. At the time, I didn't know she sucked, though, and none of us did. The original Windblade mini is really, really good. A lot of it is Sarah Stone's beautiful artwork, and maybe if Margaret Scott wasn't a Reylo, things would be better, but they're not. Anyway, Victory! Victory is a Japanese series, and unlike the other Japanese series from this particular time period, this one's actually good. I love you, John. John is perfect. Starsaber legally adopts a human child as his son, and it's flawless. Transformers Animated. Transformers Animated is just obviously fantastic. Everybody loves TFA. Who doesn't love TFA? I love Blur, I love Waspinator, I love TFA Rodimus. I wish we'd gotten a season 4. TFA rules. Prime. Now, I'm putting Prime above TFA. I don't know. I think I enjoy watching Prime more, but Prime also, like, infuriates me. So I thought about putting Prime in God tier, but I couldn't quite do it because, a lot of the writing staff is notoriously really homophobic. There's a whole, like, video clip where, of someone asking at, BotCon, like, oh, is Knockout gay? And they all laugh, and then, one of the writers says that no, he's not gay. He only acts that way because he's a glitch in the Allspark, or there was a glitch in the Allspark when it made him. And I'm like, that's horrific. And he is the butt of constant gay jokes in this show. Like, I love Knockout. I love him, and he is gay. But, like, they do make a lot of gay jokes at his expense, and it's pretty gross. So, like, there's that, and then there's also the fact that a lot of the story in Prime doesn't make a lot of sense, and a lot of fetch quests. Like, there's so much problems with Prime, and it's really unfortunate because it had a lot of more potential than it really took advantage of. But ultimately, I think Prime is, like, one of the most enjoyable things to watch they've ever made, because, like, the fact that the plot doesn't actually hold up or make any sense really doesn't bother you when you're watching it. Like, you watch it and you're always invested, because the characters are all really interesting. There's only a couple of characters in the whole series, but they really poured their hearts into making you love all of those characters and all of their interactions with one another. So you watch it and you feel how cool and powerful and dramatic everything is at all times. And I really do genuinely think the animation, for TV animation, looks really great. And I think the character designs are really cool, and the soundtrack to Prime is absolutely incredible. So, Prime's really great, but I have my reservations, so it can't go on the God tier list, because it's got problems. And then you got God tier, which is, these are all the best. These are non-skippable iterations. And starting at the bottom is Recordicons, which is probably the hardest to find, but it is it used to be on the back of the, like, BotCon comics, and it's by David Willis, and it is absolutely flawless. I love Recordicons. It's about Shattered Glass Ravage, who's like an old LOL cat, and he's got a Twitter account, he's super funny, and he's like, oh, I'm Ravage, and I'm so cute and funny, yeah. And he hangs out with everybody, and it's so adorable and fun and cute. Like, it's just a really genuinely fun comic to read. Like, I absolutely love it. The humor's on point. All the art's really nice, and it also introduced the very first transgender Transformer in any official material, officially produced material ever, with Howlback, which is dope. Thank you, Mr. Willis. Next up, More Than Meets the Eye, Lost Light, / Lost Light. The two ends of the comic that James Roberts did, that's basically the same comic, but they changed the name in the middle of it. Fantastic, absolutely just incredible. I really have no, like, bad things to say about it. It changed my life. It's the good shit. My name is mentioned in issue 50 because I sent in my letter. I love it. I love it. It's good. Next up is Beast Wars, which is, like, really funny because it's really ugly, but it's also just fantastic. So, like, if you look at Beast Wars and you're like, oh, that's really ugly, I don't want to watch it, no, watch it, because, like, the first couple of episodes, you're like, ha ha ha, this is so funny because it's so ugly. I need a drink for watching this because it's such a fun, so bad it's good thing. And then by, like, episode 10, you're, like, weeping openly. You're like, oh my god, the plot is so good. It's infuriating. I hate Beast Wars. It's so good. Next up is Eugenesis, which is a fanfiction written by James Roberts, who wrote MTMT and Lost Light, and it's really, really good. And I am, in fact, counting as official material because it's basically official material. Like, more people know about, like, Eugenesis than, I don't know, Zone. Who cares? Next up, Rescue Bots Academy. Rescue Bots Academy is really good. It's not as good as the original Rescue Bots, but it's still really, really solid, and I'm really enjoying it. And the addition of Girl Whirl was, chef kiss. Really good. They crushed it with that one. Next up, Cyberverse. It's pretty new, but it's also free, so go watch it. Cyberverse is fantastic! It is so good. They've taken everything. Oh my god, they fit together so many different, like, characters and iterations from different series and made them feel like they go together. It's really incredible. I absolutely adore Cyberverse. The Bumblebee movie, Travis Knight crushed it with this one. This movie is fantastic. You could skip the rest of them and just watch this one and have yourself a blast. This is what I wanted from a Transformers movie. It's great. And then finally, at number 1 spot is Rescue Bots. Rescue Bots is the best thing to come out of Transformers ever. I love you, Rescue Bots. Rescue Bots is one of the best things I've ever seen. I love Rescue Bots so much I could die. I love you, Rescue Bots. Blades is the best. I love Rescue Bots. Okay, that's my whole thing. I don't know if you could tell, but this video was largely unscripted. I had my list, but then I just, boom, ran with it.